Just a quick reminder that you can check us out every week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. You can also join our Discord or Reddit page at r/SplitViewPodcast. Links are all on our YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody.
Good day and good night.
Juice for Tom.
Yeah.
Juice for Tom. Juice for Tom.
Geordie. Juice for Geordie.
Juice for Tom. We watched Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah. I want the juice.
This movie is hella sad, boys.
This movie's depressing, and this movie is very relatable to, I think, everyone who has concerns about drugs. This movie, to me, I kind of interpret it as quite literally an anti-drug PSA. Or like a horror story, because if you think about it, it's very like, it shows a lot of sides. Like, you have fucking Harry, I guess he's like your typical junkie kind of drug seller dude. You have his accomplice, you have an old lady, and then you have
Harry's mum.
Yeah, you have Harry's mum, and then you have Harry's girlfriend. Like, you're seeing all the sides that affect
all of our characters in this movie are addicted to some form of drug, pretty much.
Addicted to something, I guess, you know? Like, it's to me, it's very much like the user, the accomplice, the incidental, and the dependent.
Yeah, I get you. I get what you mean.
It's like all sides of like how like drug use kind of fucks you up, you know? So
yeah, this movie paints one hell of a fucking picture, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's quite disgusting.
It's a fucking horrifying picture of that. Because the funny thing is, I said to Tom, when I heard Requiem for I thought it was a fucking musical. I thought this movie was a musical. And when Tom said we're going to watch it, I'm like, okay, whatever, if you want. We've seen Home Alone, movie? I guess, whatever.
Well, don't fucking shit on Home Alone.
But I mean, compared to all the other movies we've watched, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not a musical in any way. Although there was some good music.
It was musical.
Yeah, there was very good music that I didn't know was from this movie.
I've heard almost the entire soundtrack multiple times just from like media that I've consumed that I've used it. Like, some of the tracks sounded exactly like Final Fantasy boss themes and fucking Silent Hill soundtracks.
So like orchestral type, grandiose music. It
has that
fits
one
very well, actually.
It has that one orchestral meme that Hans Zimmer uses constantly. Which is, that one.
Now, seeing as how we've perfectly recreated it, and we'll get copyright striked now for that.
You can copyright a melody, so maybe
we will. Yeah. Maybe if Hans Zimmer decides to do it, copy strike us himself.
That's not even a joke. He has robots that do that.
True, that's true.
We just got to replicate it very shittily and off key.
It's almost like we did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, if you have, for instance, a troublesome, wayward child who's interested in the drug-a-roonies, show them this movie and they will not be interested in it.
I guess,
because I tell you what, man, like, there is nothing that makes me not want to do drugs more than this movie.
Okay.
I reckon that is the scariest movie I've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening, just like the imagery, the consequences, everything. But the relatability, like, I take regular medication for my spine, and like sometimes I do kind of feel like, hey, maybe I shouldn't like depend on these to like function. And I very much related to the old lady's plight of wanting to be thin as fuck for a TV show.
Yeah,
and then her it was horrifying watching her just pop pills and go insane. That was horrifying. It's
a very, very rare thing. And I mentioned this before we even started FlickView, I think, when we used to talk about what we would watch. Is that I find it very hard to connect to a movie as opposed to a TV show because I don't have enough time to get invested or whatever. But I tell you what, I have never felt more watching something than in the last half of this movie. Like, I think my heart rate doubled for a solid 45 minutes.
It's pretty horrifying.
Because it didn't stop in the last half.
Yeah.
It just cuts between people fucking, like, coming off drugs, like, just going fucking insane. People losing their arm from putting too much heroin in it.
Very much, like, lapses in, like, time and all that shit.
It literally doesn't let you breathe. And that's on purpose, because it's like, you're coming off of it as well when you're watching. It's fucking brilliant is what it is.
There are so many, like, things that I think were hidden as well. Like, the old lady, like, the mother, she wants to get thin, so she goes on diet pills. And I was telling Geordie, diet pills are literally just speed. Like, they're opioid / whatever, like narcotics. And you can get fucking addicted to them. Like, there were multiple scenes of her fucking jiving around the house. she starts kind of getting resistant to it.
Yeah,
like how you should
progressively
be.
she's getting worse and worse, and then the hallucinations start.
She starts taking multiple, and she starts, and then she goes to the doctor for a consult, and the doctor's like, get these, like more of them essentially. And then there was this thing where I think the doctor was also the drug dealer. Or
Yeah,
at least
so
I think that was like subtextual, like as in like he wasn't literally, but he was dishing out the drugs, which is the same thing that he was doing for
it's
the
a
mother.
bit of a metaphor.
Exactly,
type
a metaphor.
Deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our main character, Harry, is trying to... Well, they're drug dealers, and that's
Yeah.
how they make their money, and the supply stopped for a while, and there was a big supply supposed to be coming in, and the guy in the truck handing out all the heroin was the same doctor, we think.
Yeah,
We'll probably have to go back and watch it to be sure
at least
of
he
that.
looked identical.
But metaphorically the same as the person who started giving Harry's mum
yeah, her dealer essentially.
her speed.
Which is, it's a huge problem now, and even at the time, like, the opioid crisis, where like doctors just fucking, they're like, they don't want to have to prescribe someone for physical therapy, take our resources. They're just like, yeah, take some painkillers, it's all good,
Yeah,
you'll get better.
it's
a huge problem.
kind of a horrifying thing to think about.
Yeah,
The fact that even still, I don't think it's particularly hard to get these types of things.
Yeah.
Like, there are still people who are faking this shit
constantly,
with
dude.
with like, because you only like need to take a few, and then all of a sudden you're just
dependent.
dependent.
It doesn't even, you don't even have to get high off it. If you have like pain and this pill makes the pain go away, you want to not have the pain
Exactly.
anymore.
That's a normal thing to want. If you're in fucking
Yeah,
debilitating pain, is to want the pain to go away.
which is what
If you've had a taste of that,
it's kind of what happened to like the mother, the old lady. Like, it was
Exactly
she wasn't
right.
necessarily getting high off it. She just felt better on it, and she felt easier, and she was losing weight. It was like a crux for her,
she was seeing results, but she was also noticing that she was losing it, but the results was too good. She
Yeah.
lost 25 pounds, she was saying, in like, I don't know how long it was. She goes, why would I stop now? I lost 25 pounds. I'm happy, and all that type of shit. And, they failed to see what is actually happening to them. Well, they don't even fail to see it. They
Yeah.
see it. It just,
It's quite a horrifying.
goes to the wayside when you're losing that much weight, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's-
had this happen to me, thankfully.
I mean, the movie's kind of about addiction, so like every kind of aspect of it's related to that, and it's quite
and
terrifying.
Harry's girlfriend, who's also, a drug dealer.
They show things I don't think they could have shown.
No,
I don't know how
didn't think they could have showed that. Yeah, like, she was essentially pimping herself out for drugs, and it
Going to
was
fucking-
a lot of gruesome scenes.
There's a
there.
wild fucking party scene.
Yeah, to the point where you're right. I don't know how they were able to show that.
Yeah.
You see a lot in this movie of just about everything.
Dude's like ass to ass.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great. So what I usually like to do with movies like this, which is pre-warning if you are going to watch it, if you're listening to this before you watch it, if you are struggling with addiction, if you are trying to come off a certain narcotic or something, if you have, I don't know, sexual abuse problems, you know what? If you're happy right now, don't watch this movie.
Okay, cool.
But that being said, I will recommend it because this is a great movie.
Yeah, I'd say it's great. I
This
think
is
it's
probably going to be one of my favorite movies because it's just done so well.
probably helpful to like identify like any family members or loved ones. Like, you can see the signs kind of thing and realize their plight. And the technical aspects about this film were fucking fantastic as well. I love the cinematography. I love
It's
the
really
sound
good.
design. I loved like everything about it. It was great.
Yeah, we noticed Tom noticed pretty much near the end that we think that they're using two separate cameras, like a
Yeah.
decent one when they're not going through some shit, like when they're taking drugs and life's shit. They
There's-
use like a grainy film camera to
or like some sort of visual like distinction. Like there's very much a juxtaposition between like the supporting characters and the main characters going through their shit. Like, it's a movie from 2000. At some points you can see the individual pores on people's skin.
Yeah, it's really strange. Especially actually Harry's mum's scenes. They were all blown out and saturated and crazy because she was going crazy. She ended up hallucinating that she was in the game show, and then she
The
went...
parts where the people come out of the TV was horrifying.
Yeah,
That was
I hated
freaky.
that. I
was
fucking
terrifying.
hated that. It was worse than The Ring coming out of the TV, which is objectively not that bad compared to this.
This movie
I would say.
is like worse, well, scarier than most conventional horror movies.
Because it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's worse. But towards the end, Harry's mum just fully loses it. She ends up going to a psych ward and all that shit. They just electroshock therapy her, which of course does nothing.
It's horrifying.
And you don't even really get closure at the end of this movie.
She's still crazy. She's still
crazy.
She's in the fetal position being
Harry lost his arm because he used too much heroin.
Yeah.
His accomplice, whose name I've forgotten and should know this for our podcast, Ty,
yeah.
He's still in prison while he's having withdrawals.
Yeah, he's in like military work camp prison.
Yeah, Marion, who's Harry's girlfriend, is like hugging heroin and in the fetal position. Money.
Yeah.
Okay. In the fetal position after being what could only be described as sexually assaulted, which is the nicest way of saying that.
Or like sex trafficked.
Pretty much, yeah.
I kind of liked how they showed the highs and lows. Like they showed them making a lot of money. You know, they showed like everyone in a good position, and then it's like, hey, fuck you, guess what, this shit happens,
arguably, you know, quote unquote, that's how it all starts, you know. When you're sensible, you make all the money, and then you just want to try it. They literally did that cliche, like, we just have to test it to see how much we're going to cut with it when they start selling the heroin and or coke or whatever it was.
Harry was being fucking sensible. He was like, I don't want to mess this up, man. I don't want to mess this up. And then Ty was like, we just need to try it out, man. Just see what we're selling.
We just need to see how much to cut it with and all that shit, and then it's just all downhill.
What was up with that scene with the deaf dude?
Yeah, that was never explained. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it was, and I missed it.
The slate comes down that says "fall," and we both read it as "fail."
Yeah, there's just a scene where Ty goes in to meet with a bunch of like gangsters who are going to promote him, like in their gang, and then they just all get fucking capped.
Yeah,
and then the word "fall" comes up. But we read it as fail, so it kind of...
Someone just got shot.
Yeah.
It's like, fail.
And then the next one is winter, and we read it as winner.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, the text is a little bit deceiving, I would say.
The last one should have been cute.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Cute winter fail. Alrighty.
This, I'm going to go ahead and recommend this movie.
Yeah, I will. Too.
If you're capable of dealing with it, because goddamn is it a fucking roller coaster.
It's actually horrifying.
It really is. Be prepared. I feel like I say this every damn week because we watch movies like this, but I can definitely say out of all the movies we've watched, this is the worst.
We usually riff on movies constantly. In the last 5 minutes, we were just like...
This whole movie, we were pretty fucking quiet considering what we're usually like, because there's not even anything to make fun of because it's too fucking real.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that this movie is good. Like, if we can't even make fun of it because it's, like, affecting us that much, that's pretty good right there. And I think this is also the most juiciest of a review we've ever given a show.
We've talked about the movie almost 100%.
Yeah, so...
If not 100.
Enjoy this while it lasts, because I don't think it will.
Yep.
So, we'll see you all next week. Enjoy if you watched it. See you later, everyone.
Bye.